We're in the Netherlands at the Zandvoort circuit, which wends its way through the sand dunes on the North Sea coast. Sophia Flörsch joins the championship for Van Amersfoort Racing. A welcome to the lady racer. Going from P3 on the grid is the German driver Mick Schumacher. Going from P1, the pole sitter is Guan Yu Zhou, who has yet another Prema Theodore racing driver alongside him. And that is Ralph Aron, who gets a better start than Guan Yu Zhou and gets right alongside going into turn number 1. Ralph Aron then, who puts himself from P2 into the race lead going through the Tarzan turn. However, the fight would intensify as Guan Yu Zhou tries to wrestle that P1 position back. And here, going into the Tarzan turn, they go side by side once again, but Ralph Aron able to put the car exactly where Guan Yu Zhou doesn't want it and is able to hold on to that P1 place. Sophia Flörsch will finish her first race, P23, and as the checkered flag falls, Ralph Aron will win the race, followed by Guan Yu Zhou, and Mick Schumacher will take P3, as you can see from the results on screen now. So a very dominant result for the Prema Theodore team, who took the top 4 places, and the celebrations on the podium as lively as always. Ralph Aron once again going from P2, but this time it's Dan Ticktum that has pole position. But another great start from Ralph Aron, really blistering start. Mick Schumacher on his outside of Dan Ticktum, they touch. That breaks a suspension component on the Mick Schumacher car, and he ends up just a few meters of the tarmac and then into the gravel. His race done and dusted. So a very likely podium on this difficult to overtake track for Mick Schumacher has gone away, and you can see just how frustrated he is. Marcus Armstrong all over the back of Daniel Ticktum, and Daniel Ticktum runs a bit wide off the exit of the Tarzan turn, which plays into the hands of both Marcus Armstrong and Guan Yu Zhou. So P2 goes away for Dan Ticktum, but at the end of the race it will be Ralph Aron that makes it 2 out of 2, followed by Marcus Armstrong and Guan Yu Zhou. So another very dominant performance for the Prema Theodore team, with Alex Paulo taking P4 for High-Tech Bullfrog GP. It was pole position for Daniel Ticktum in race 2. It's pole position once again in race 3. And Juri Vips, who was alongside him, has a torrid time and doesn't get away. Thankfully, all the drivers managed to avoid him. So Nikita Troitsky, the big winner in that, who now finds himself in P2 as Daniel Ticktum leads the race. However, Daniel Ticktum's start was probably going to be better than any of us realized, and he gets a drive-through penalty. So Nikita Troitsky then becomes the race leader. Here we can see how Daniel Ticktum managed to get away before the lights went out. There are sensors right across the grid box, and a slipping clutch was what did for Daniel Ticktum at the start of that race. That's what did for Julian Hanses, the Marcon driver, who in the later stages of the race runs into the barriers. The recovery operation was not as simple as we thought it would be, and therefore the race was red flagged. This meant that Nikita Troitsky celebrated his maiden win in the FIA Formula 3 European Championship for Carlin Motorsport, and there you can see Guan Yu Zhou takes P2, Gian Daravala for Carlin P3, and Nikita Troitsky will remember this moment on the top step of the podium for a very long time. The drivers celebrate on the podium, and Marcus Armstrong is leading the Drivers' Championship as all thorts are towards Spa-Francorchamps for the next rounds of the Formula 3 European Championship.